Okay. Our next speaker is Untitled Chapter, also known as TDA. She is a seasoned HR specialist and currently the group head human resources of Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC. With over 17 years of human resource management, she has over the years developed competencies in performance management, people and culture transformation, learning and development, manpower planning, recruitment and selection, organizational development, and employee relationship. Her career spans different sections of the Nigerian economy. She currently oversees HR activities in four subsidiaries of the organization Nigeria and the West African coast with a workforce of over 4,000. Taking us on building a dream career with attitude, knowledge, and a dream career. I believe attitude, knowledge, always skill for this. Believe, sit back, relax, bring out, keep jotting, keep learning, keep an open mind, and let's transform our career. Welcome, Mrs. Taiwo Abatan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kachi. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. And let me appreciate Ayo Adeyemi for the opportunity. Career Summit 2.0 was my last time that we were here. And then here we are, 3.0. It's been awesome since yesterday. It's been awesome since yesterday, and I'll be here talking to us on knowledge, skills, and attitude, a requirement for you to climb the ladder in your career. I will share my screen, but before I do that, can we all go to the chat room and say in one word how we're feeling today? Just one word. How do you feel today? While I share my screen. So I want the class to be as interactive as possible, just 30 minutes, and then we'll take questions if there are any after them. Okay. So if you can see my slide, let me know. Just tell me, yes, you can see my slide. Great. Okay. So once again, we're welcome. And yes, I'll be speaking with us on how to build a dream career, the role of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Okay, so my table of contents, we'll talk around so for a table of content, we'll have an introduction, then a small let's meet you. So I'm asking some questions, and then go down the definition around what is knowledge, what is skills, and what we mean by attitude. And then we move on to the general KSA competencies that we need to move up the ladder. And then I'll be asking the question, what next? And then I'll finally round up with questions and answers if there are any. Okay, so let's meet you. No, so away from our speakers, every other participant, this is for you. So I want to know more about you to see whether what I'm going to be sharing with us today, you can resonate with you or you can connect with them. So tell me about who you are. I'm asking, when we say career, what do we mean? So I want us to go to the chat box and just put our feedback there. When you hear the word career, what does it mean? Because most times we find that most people mix up that word between job and then career. So quickly go to the chat room and just put there what you mean when you hear the word career. Another thing I will be asking us is that, what is your profession? So I'm a human resource professional. What do you do? Are you an engineer? Are you a teacher? Are you a medical practitioner? Just let me know, what is your profession? Because all in all, knowledge, skill, and attitude are requirements for us to grow in whatever chosen profession we have latched onto. Now, are you working presently? Are you in between jobs? Are you going through a career transition? Just let me know. Are you working presently? If it's a yes, say yes. If you're transiting, just say transiting. If you're not working, say no. Just to know who you are. What's our audience like? So for how long? So if you've been working, how long have you been working? So 1 year, 2 years, entry level, middle level, senior level, executive level. How long have you been working? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Let's know. So tell me about you. And then finally, I will ask the question, this is just for you, which is superior, knowledge, skill, or attitude? Some people will say knowledge is better, skill is better. Yes, I want to know your own perspective. Which of these three do you think is superior? Knowledge or skill or attitude? Please share your comments with me in the chat room. I would like to get that feedback from you. Finally, I always ask, because you need to have a sense of appreciation with what you do. Are you happy doing what you're doing? Are you happy with your chosen profession? Are you happy going to work? Are you happy going to work 9 to 5? Because the baseline for your fulfillment is happiness. You need to be happy with what you're doing. So I want to know, go to the chat room. Just tell me, I am happy doing what I'm doing. I'm not too happy doing what I'm doing. You never know who is out there who will render the required help for you. So let's move on. So introduction. I would say that your career is more than the job you're doing right now. Your career is more than the job you're doing right now. Your career, and it is deliberately planned for you to reach your peak. For you to reach your peak, you need to be deliberate around your career. Now, building your dream career is going to be an outcome. You can say, I'm bolding that word, an outcome of intentional efforts geared towards making that dream a reality. So there has to be some form of intentionality around your efforts, because for you to build your dream career, that is the baseline. It requires that you have to be deliberate, and you need to plan so that you can reach your peak. And at the end of the day, that peaks, one of the things that resonates at the peak is fulfillment. Now, in building your dream career, the role of knowledge, skill, and attitude cannot be overemphasized. So knowledge is required, the skills are required, and also an attitude. Your attitude is also required for you to build your dream career. So some people will say, I have technical competencies, I'm knowledgeable, I have the right skill, but it's a combination of these three that you would require in building your dream career. If you can still connect with me, please go to the chat room and say, yes, Taiwo, we can hear you. Today we can hear you. Just continue. So let's put that in the chat room so I can know that you are here with me. Now, knowledge, skill, and attitude are the foundational building blocks of every successful career. And for you, they must be strategically managed towards making your dream career a reality. So we're hearing the word strategy, we're hearing the word strategically. Yes, you need to position it in such a way that you're realizing your dream of having a good career becomes a reality. So one of the things I want us to take back from here is the fact that we have to be intentional, and also we need to be strategic, and that the KSA must be in the right combination for you to make your dream career a reality. I think I have just like 2 or 3 more slides. Now let's go ahead. I have a trivia, and this is my trivia. So that I can know that you're connecting with me. Translate this into words. Let's see who is smart here. Just go to the chat room and let me know how you can, what you are picking from this. I'm asking that you translate this into words, and let's see who is smart. I want to believe that everybody here is smart. So this is a trivia for us, just to see whether we're still connecting with the presentation. So if you have an answer, let me go to the chat room quickly and see what's happening there. So somebody's saying, really? Somebody's saying, can we meet at 5? Somebody's saying, can you be right on time? Another person is saying, can you be ready at 5? Okay. Any other person saying something? Another message is coming in. Can you be ready at 5? Another person is saying, okay. So what this trivia is talking about is, can you be ready at 5? So with the bulk of us getting it, I want to believe that yes, we are all smart. So let's move on. So what is knowledge? When you say knowledge, what is knowledge? Knowledge refers to a body of information or facts which can be applied to the performance of a job. So knowledge refers to a body of information or facts that can be applied to the performance of a job. So before you can perform, there's a required level of knowledge on the role. So as a human resource professional, I must have the knowledge of that profession. I must have what it takes for me to perform on that job. So it's a body of information or facts which can be applied to the performance of a job. That, in my own words, that's how I would define knowledge. Well, I'll also say that it's imperative to have the knowledge in your profession or domain area in your career journey. Not have a vague idea, not have an idea. You must have the knowledge in that profession or the domain area in your career journey. So it's important that you have the knowledge required for you to perform effectively in that chosen area along your career journey. I will also say that this knowledge could be knowing the laws and regulations guiding practices in your industry, or knowing how to design or engineer products. So I would say that for every industry, for every profession, let's take medicine. So they have their own body of knowledge. They have their rules. They have their creed. They have their oath. For HR, we also have ours. So for every profession, I know the engineers have theirs. There are guiding rules, there are regulations, there are laws, there are practices that you require to be successful in that industry. So it's important that you know you have the knowledge of this in your chosen career or your chosen area. Now, knowledge is acquired whether through general or specific education. So you can decide to say, I went to the university and I studied industrial and labor relations, because at the end of the day, I want to be a human resource professional, or I went to the university and I studied medicine. So you could, that's one way you could acquire knowledge, either through general or specific education. It is therefore important to get the necessary kind of education to live your dream career. If you still look at what I'm talking about, there's still a form of intentionality around you being able to chart a dream career for yourself. You need to have the required knowledge, the required education to live your dream career. Moving on quickly, I will say some things around knowledge. Knowledge is power, and people who wish to advance in their career are always open to learning new things. So there's never an ending to learning. Learning is a continuum. Knowledge is power also. So ask yourself, in your team or in your organization, some people stand out. What makes them to stand out is the knowledge they have around their profession, the knowledge they have of the job or the role they are performing. So it's important that you continuously educate yourself around that job that you're doing. Learning new skills make you more versatile, and that is where the real growth happens. When you learn new skills, when you acquire more knowledge, then that is where the real growth happens. You can gain knowledge in many ways. For example, you could read books, you could read journals on the industry you currently work in. So typically, you want to have sound background, sound understanding, or access to books, journals within the industry you currently work in. So even beyond, for me, finding myself in insurance, I had to go and educate myself around insurance. I also had to go and get understand the language, the lexicon, the way they speak in the insurance industry. So that when I am talking, I can also connect with them. I've also worked in the sub-medical industry where we had to use some medical terms. I had to go and learn it. So I'm saying here again that knowledge is power. What will give you visibility and fulfillment around that your career choice is knowledge. So like technology, there are always new developments in every field. So whatever your chosen career, even in human resources, we learn new things every day. Now, looking at the impact of even COVID-19, the transformation going around the world becoming borderless, There are new developments every day, and reading books can help you to stay up to date. Beyond reading books, the social media is another fantastic tool that we all need to harness. LinkedIn is there, publications are there for you to, there are different groups for you to follow, whereby you can keep yourself abreast of changes within your industry. You need to stay up to date. I want us to go to the chat room and say, I need to stay up to date. You need to stay up to date so that you are relevant. And like I said here, knowledge is power. Alternatively, you should not limit yourself to your job title. You must be willing and eager to take on responsibility, even when it's not part of your job description. Your knowledge and skill can help you make a greater impact on the company, enabling you to move up the corporate ladder. So I'm a human resource professional. I do other things beyond my core responsibility of HR. I sell the company's products. I help in event management within the organization, all because I choose to empower myself and become more knowledgeable in other areas beyond my area of core competence. So I hope you got something there. If you got something there, just go to the chat box and say, Taiwo, I got something there. So we're moving on. Skills, when we say skills, what do you mean? Technical or soft proficiencies which are applied to perform a job. I would define skills as technical or soft proficiencies which are applied to perform a job. Skills are usually learned or acquired through training. And when this is acquired through training, we call this conscious competence. So when you acquire skills through training, then that's conscious competence. Now, I'll say that mastering the skill set requirements for a role over time, it becomes an unconscious competence that you have. So somebody asked me now, off the hook, I will run me through the performance management, a typical performance management system. I can run it off the hook without necessarily referring to any book or any knowledge. What has happened here is that I've mastered the skill set requirement for that role over time, and it has become unconscious competence for me. So I'm saying here that beyond skill, your skill must translate to competencies. So over and over and over again, you master your skills, and your skills eventually translate to competencies. Now, skills also come from practical application of knowledge. So you acquired the knowledge, yes, but can you bring it to bear? Can you bring it to bear on your day-to-day? Can you bring it to bear on your 9-to-5? Can you bring it to bear on your current role? So we have people like YF said, people have had certifications, they've had master's degree, they've gone here and there, they're always on Udemy, Coursera, they're always on LinkedIn learning one or two things. Now, if you cannot practically apply that knowledge, then you cannot exhibit the required skills for that role. This ensures that you seek out opportunities that allow you to apply what you learn. Look for opportunities on your job that will allow you to apply what you have learned or you are learning over time. Now, your soft skills are just as important as your hard skills. Yes, our previous speaker also said that. It has to be a balance. Your soft skills are there, the hard skills are also there. So beyond the technical competencies, beyond the technical skills for you to perform that role, how good are your soft skills, your political awareness, your emotional intelligence, relationship management, business acumen? How sharp are you in those soft skill areas? Communication. Communication is beyond the verbal communication that we exchange on a daily basis. Communication also involves your writing skills. Some people cannot articulate themselves. Yes, while they speak well orally, being able to articulate is also a challenge. So your skills are just as important as your hard skills. To think critically, for instance, is as much relevant as it is to compute payroll using Microsoft Excel. An Excel master must invariably be able to think critically. So the soft skills I'm talking about here, there has to be a balance between the soft skills and your hard skills. It is important that you identify and acquire the skills that are relevant to your dream career. We're moving on. I have another icebreaker here just to see whether we are connecting. And so it's a short one, and the icebreaker, I think we went beyond this. No, we're going back. So we're here. So a murderer is condemned to death. He has to choose between three doors. Now, the first is full of raging fires. The second is full of assassins with loaded guns. The third is full of lions that haven't eaten in 3 years. Which room is safest for him? Can we go to the chat room and quickly can say the yellow door, the blue door, or the red door? Which room do you think is safest for him? He's trying to run away. He's been condemned to death. He has to choose between these three. Which room do you think will be the safest for him? Let me go to the chat room. People are saying, Kate said, Uju said the blue door. Kate said the red door. Uju said the blue door. I know said the blue door. Vivian is saying the blue door. Why is everybody picking the blue door? So who is going for the red or the yellow door? Nobody's saying yellow door. Okay, so I'm having a majority here. Oluwawemimo is saying the blue door. I'm having a majority of blue door. So let me just give the answer, then we'll move on. I have 2 more slides to go. The best door for him to go to is the red door. And let's look at it critically. The third door, which is the red door, is full of lions that haven't eaten in 3 years. And when we have a room full of lions that haven't eaten in 3 years, obviously all the lions there are dead. Somebody should say, well done, TDA, for saying that. The third room, the best room for him to go to is the red room, the room with the red door. And it's because if we have lions that haven't eaten in 3 years, obviously all the lions there are dead. So that's the safest room for him to go. So if you got that, just tell me, Taiwo, let's move on. TDA, let's move on. I'm waiting for a comment. Like I said, TDA, let's move on. Oh, yeah, so 2 more slides to go. So my next slide, I'll be talking about attitude. So we talked about knowledge, talked about skills, and then attitude. Attitude defines how you work or proceed towards your goals. It's one way of thinking or feeling about someone or something else. Attitude plays a key role in our jobs. You might have the knowledge, you might have the requisite skills. Attitude is like the icing on the cake. I'll move on. Your attitude can significantly affect your feelings, how you appreciate people, how you are motivated towards reaching your goals. Attitude is everything. And then I know that when we were growing up, we had this teaser that would say that when you sum up all the letters in the word attitude, it amounts to 100. So attitude is everything. It is therefore imperative to develop the right positive attitude towards building your dream career. A right positive attitude spurs you on every now and then, particularly through patches. When you say patches, when you have issues at work, you have an insensitive boss, things are not going the right way, you're low on funds, having the right positive attitude spurs you on all the time. So I will talk around, so after I've made a definition about knowledge and attitude, what are the general competencies for a dream career? And I'm rounding up. 1, problem solving and analytical ability. So this is a combo of KSA, a combination of knowledge, skill, and attitude that we need to have when we want to grow, if we want to grow a dream career. Teamwork. You must be a team player. Team says together everyone achieves more. Some people will say, I like working alone. You can't grow it. You can't have a dream career that way. You must have teamwork. The other one is effective communication. I don't want to overemphasize that. You must know how to effectively communicate. And we also know that communication is more of nonverbal. So what are your nonverbal cues? How do people perceive you? And we also say that perception rules the world. So before you even talk, what do people see about you? Many people have lost promotions, many people have lost their job, many people have been stagnated in their career because they have not been able to effectively communicate. When I say communicate, it's not only talking. Our nonverbal cues also play a key role. Our attitude also play a key role in growing a dream career. The fourth one is flexibility and adaptability. We know that what we're hearing now in the new normal, which is the now of work, is agility. So how flexible and how adaptable are you? Are you someone that wants an issue is put before you, the first thing you say is, it is not possible. So in the mind of the boss already has people that work in the team. And when we want to assign responsibility and assignment to people, what comes to mind first is the person that is most flexible, the person that is most adaptable. The now of work, the place of work is changing drastically. Things are not as expected, and a lot of transformation is going on in the workplace. And so you need to be able to adapt. On the good days, adapt. On the bad days, adapt. And you also need to be flexible. Leadership, everything rises and falls with leadership. And leadership is not positional, it is not a title. Every one of us at this point in time need to demonstrate leadership competencies, leadership abilities. So it's also one of the general competencies that I would say is required to have a dream career. Another one is relationship management. You also need to have strong work ethics. So what are your ethics like at work? How credible are you? How strong are you on integrity? What is your moral compass looking like? You need to have strong work ethics if you want to build, as one of general competencies for a dream career, and also direction and motivation. You need to be self-motivated. You need to have focus. You need to have your own plan and then walk along the direction and also learn to motivate yourself. Finally, what we will not underestimate is that what will actually even give you that role or even that opportunity in the workplace is your technical skill. So you must be technically sound in your domain area. You must be technically sound in your domain area. In conclusion, it is possible to fly without motors, but not without knowledge and skills. And this is by Wilbur Wright. So it is possible to fly without motors, but not without knowledge and skills. So who is going back to do something different? And that's the power of execution. I want us to go to the chat room and saying, I'm going back to do something different. So what you are going to go back to do differently is with you and it lies with you. If you've listened to this presentation and you haven't taken something back to say, I will start doing something different based on what TDA has said today, then it's an effort in futility. You listening in is an effort in futility. You need to go back, take action, and tell yourself, I'm going back to do something different. And that's the power of execution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was awesome. And so we will wait to have Coach Lara, then we will take the interactive session together. All right, so that's so that we can manage the time. Okay, so right away, without wasting much time, we'll bring on Coach Lara. I believe she's set for us.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So just a second, just wait a second, please.
Thank you, TDA. Okay, so it's time to call up Omolara Yeku. She is a global head.
Wait, are you on mute? Mute yourself. Mute yourself. Mute yourself. Okay, yeah, mute yourself.
Hello.
You're not mute yourself. Shine now.
Sorry for that. Omolara Yeku is a global HR leader, a career coach, mentor, speaker, and author. who is well recognized for her immense innovative contributions to the current trends and practices in the evolution of human resource management in Nigeria. Lara currently sits as the head of HR Food Division at Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC. As a highly respected HR thought leader, she has won several awards, for which includes the 2019 Talent Management Strategist, Top 150 Women B2B Thought Leadership for 2020 and 2021, and second LinkedIn Top 10 Women True Leadership to follow in 2020. She is a board member of NROP Data Academy and Modbezel Foundation for Young Girls. Please, can we all sit with excitement and an open mind as we sit under her to hear what she has to say to us? Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Check, check. Can you all hear me? Can you see me? Can you see my slide? Check, check. Hi, everyone.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
Hello, we can see you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I mean, it's so humble. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayo Adeyemi, for inviting me to be a speaker at this year's event. Standing on existing protocol. This is to welcome everyone once again, and I appreciate all our facilitators who started the conference yesterday and the ones that have spoken today. Why, thank you. TDA, thank you so much. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking us through recruiting a career sponsor or a navigator. For me, when I saw this topic, it was really exciting for me at first, because I think I'm at a point in my life that relationship has really helped me. And when TDA was sharing her session and she talked about relationship management, she talked about attitude. I mean, for me, this is just I believe my session is just to sort of cap everything and present to us. And of course, give us knowledge and tools on how do we now build our relationship hinged on our attitude. I'm not going to repeat anything that has been said before. I'm hoping that within the next 30 minutes, you would enjoy this learning session together. Okay, I'm trying to check the chat box. Awesome. Okay, thanks once again, TDA, for that exciting session. I mean, you were able to help me have a sense of the audience that we have today. So basically, okay. Oh, can you hear me? I can see, but not hear. Can you all hear me? Okay. I'm reading the chat. Please, if you can hear me, can you just put in the chat box? I can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, everyone. All right. So when we talk about career sponsor, what exactly do we mean? And there's one word that also jumps out at me, recruiting. I mean, as employees, as business owners, we all recruit one way or the other. It's all around relationship for me. Your attitude determines your altitude. Now that altitude, it's a function of your relationship that would help propel you to your place of success. So it's really critical that today we sort of look into how do we even select a sponsor? How do we even make ourselves sponsorable in quotes? How do we be an investment for a sponsor to invest in us? And I'm really looking forward to us having an exciting learning time this afternoon. So I'm just going to be covering 4 areas in my areas of content. First, we're going to be looking at the concept of sponsorship. Where did that even originate from? What does that even mean anyway? Then we'll also look at it from a perspective of our career. When we say navigate your career, I mean, TDA spoke to us about the KSA competencies, about the importance for us to have the requisite knowledge, the importance for us to also hone our skills and have the right attitude as well. And whole essence of this is this would help us navigate our career. But how do we even put all of this together? We'll be talking about that. Then how do you even recruit a sponsor? I mean, do I really need to have a sponsor anyway? Is it really important? Would equally look at that. Then how do you even become someone that can be sponsored? Because you might want to have a sponsor, but are you sponsorable in quotes? And I hope that at the end of this session, we'll have some exciting time learning on that. Okay, so when we talk about sponsor, can you put your comments in the chat box here? Do you remember the first time you heard the word sponsor? What came to your mind when you talk about sponsor? What comes to your mind? I also like this session to be very interactive. I mean, TDH started us on a very good energy, and I like to also ride on that. So please put in the chat box when you hear the word sponsor. What does that mean to you? Sponsor. Quickly. Anyone in the house? Or let me start. Have we ever heard of the word sponsor before? Have we heard of the word sponsor? Anyone? Yes, great. In what context? How? Great. So in what context? And what did that mean to you? Someone to help, good. Anyone else? Opportunity provision, awesome. Support, that's brilliant. Anyone else? Okay, support, great, thank you. So let's just keep it coming. Have we heard of the word scholarship before? Have you heard of the word scholarship, or have you benefited from scholarship? Someone to take provision, awesome. Scholarship, thank you. I remember the first time I heard of the word scholarship, I was in the university, and we had my state association. I'm from Ondo State, and we had the Ondo State Association. And I remember every year we used to lobby for scholarship. We would hear then that Ondo State government wants to sponsor us. And at a particular period in the year, we'd go and queue, we get forms. I mean, you call all your relatives from the village to get them to sign your document just to ensure that you meet the requirements for scholarship. And that used to be very exciting. I never got chosen anyway. I don't know why, but so we invest in your idea or a course. Awesome, thank you. So yes, scholarship, even in the educational field as well, we get sponsors, someone who can invest in you, someone who can support you. I've also heard about sponsorship when it comes to projects. When you run projects or when you manage projects, every project must have a sponsor. And that sponsor has to be someone who is more knowledgeable, someone who is senior, someone who can also make decisions for that project. So it's also a common term in terms of project management. In events, I mean, weddings, families usually have the wedding sponsors. Who is sponsoring this wedding? Oh, she's the bride. And sometimes some people call it the chairman of the occasion or whatever. Even in business, we also sort of have sponsors, people who sort of take ownership of or take accountability of, ensuring that things happen as designed in a specific chain of activity, and that's in business. So if you look at it from those various contexts, right, sponsorship, even in jobs, I mean, TD also spoke about having very good relationship in your organization so that someone can be your sponsor, somebody who will speak for you behind closed doors. So if we look at it in the context of understanding what sponsorship is really all around, we realize that there are indeed benefits attached to having sponsors for your career. I mean, if you can have sponsors in other areas of your life, how much more your career, which in this instance is your life. So today we're going to be looking at sponsorship in the context of your career. And like someone had mentioned in the chat box already, it is that individual or group that provides the support, or more like your benefactor, also known as a sponsor, somebody who takes accountability and responsibility, or somebody who also takes decision on your behalf. Now, what the sponsor does is they do it on your behalf. When conversations are ongoing, when discussions are ongoing, right? When decisions need to be made about you, there has to be that sponsor. Now, if you look at it from the context of your career, no matter whatever profession you're in, if you're in sales, if you're in HR, if you're in finance, if you're in accounting, there has to be that discussion table where somebody would have to speak on your behalf. And even if you are not in a job, you are out of a job, there has to be that senior person who's been able to build some element of trust in you to take a decision. I mean, sometimes people reach out to me and say, Lara, I need someone for this role. And whoever comes top of mind to you as that person is the person you are willing to sponsor. I get referrals a lot of times, and referrals come from a place of sponsorship as well. So we shouldn't just look at sponsoring in the context of, oh, it is only when I have a job. Or no, but even for your career, you need someone that can vouch for you. Sometimes it can be your mentor, or sometimes it might not have to be your mentor. And I'm going to talk about that later on. So it's a bit different, though similar. It has to be someone that has some level of exposure of you in the context that you've had very good relationship with that person. Also in the context that you've demonstrated good attitude. When TDA spoke, she spoke at length about attitude. I won't repeat that. And in the context of the fact that you've shown readiness, and that's the place of skills and knowledge. You can't have a great attitude and you don't have the requisite skills or you don't have the requisite knowledge. You will not excel for a long time in that chosen course. So all of this needs to come together, and you need to be able to see how can you position yourself to ensure that you have a sponsor that can invest in you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Okay, so I have a comment here from Aduke. I run an NGO, and I have a corporate body who are my sponsors, partners who believe in you and in your business. Fantastic. That's a great one there. Thanks for sharing that with us. All right, so let's leave the sponsorship aspect for a while, and let's look at it from our career context. Let's look at it from the point of view of navigating through. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, there was some interference at the background. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So today you spoke a lot about our career, and let's look at it from the context of you're on a journey. You're on a life journey. Life is a journey, right? And your career is a huge chunk of your life, which is why we are always stressing the need for you to have a career purpose and vision. So imagine that you want to, you're at a current location, you're going to another location. Typically, what would you do? I mean, in the morning when I jump into my car and I'm heading to the office, almost like reflex, I pick up my phone and I'm asking Google Maps, where is the fastest the fastest route to whatever location I'm going to my office, and it gives me various options. I mean, now we have Google to navigate through any direction we are going through. So look at it from your career context, right? Why do you need to navigate through your career? Why don't you just sit back and just take it one day at a time? The day it comes, you attend to it that way, and other days, you just sit back. TDA spoke about intentionality, and that is the place of navigating through your career. Be more intentional. When you want to navigate through your career, it starts with you having a career purpose. So how do you even navigate through your career, right? And why is navigating through your career really, really important? And what are the benefits for you as well? When you are more intentional about your career, you are purposeful, you are focused, you know where you are going to, and you are taking deliberate strategic steps or action. TDA also spoke about executing. So in the place of executing, it helps you to navigate through your career. Navigate because at the end of the day, you don't feel frustrated when things are not happening. I mean, so it's just like you're going, if you can see the picture on my screen here, so you're going somewhere, you're going to the future, and everywhere just looks like, oh, okay, turn this way, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. And you're wondering, okay, so what exactly do I have to do right now? I mean, how do I even go about this right now? So it's really understanding the plans that you need to take and the actions you need to take. So it's one of those actions is ensuring that you are also very intentional with having a sponsor that can help you navigate your career. I remember a couple of years back, while I had gotten a job, okay, I was with DHL, that I was moving into Accenture. I wanted the job, but I was sending CVs left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. There was nobody was calling me. In fact, I went through someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone into Accenture. No one called me until I think it was 2006 during CIPM. I met someone from Accenture then, and I built relationship intentionally. And that way, there was a vacancy, and then he invited me, and I got the job through relationship. Now, I was sending CV left and right, left and right, left and right. I did not get the job. But when I built relationship and I was able to build trust in that relationship, when there was a vacancy, I got called. Now, in all instances, you don't have to know someone to refer you anyway. That sometimes you genuinely apply for a job and you go through the interview process and you're qualified and you're hired. Don't get me wrong. However, there's a place for building relationships, either within your job or outside your job, because it is people that will propel you for your success. And that's what I'm trying to elaborate with us here. So it has a lot of importance. It gives you insight, it gives you guidance, it helps to navigate, it holds your hand. I mean, it also helps you to even see into the future, because there are people who had gone ahead of you. There are people who have the experience that sometimes you might not even have. And what they do is to guide you and lead you as you go through your career journey. And sometimes when it comes to taking decisions as well. I remember my current job at Flam, when I was going to take the job, I had turned down a couple of offers earlier. But I spoke to my mentor, and then we looked at the opportunity this would give. So in terms of industry knowledge, in terms of business, in terms of, I said, okay, then we mapped it in line with my future career goals. And I said, this is a good opportunity for my career, and I took up the job. But that started from the place of the person who was my sponsor advising me, trusting that I could do the job, that I have enough competence and I have enough capability to function successfully in that role. So there are a couple of things that we need to do to ensure that our sponsors invest in us. If you are still together with me, can you put a comment in the chat box? Just say yes, 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 yes. If you understand the benefit of why having a sponsor to navigate your career. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. So we move very quickly. All right. Now, looking at it from a quest of having a sponsor to navigate your career, what do you bring to the table? I always say start with your career capital. When we talk about investments, I remember how my finance coach KWO, she's not on this call, TDA twin. I mean, sometimes we talk and she's always insisting, your capital, ensure your capital is protected, ensure your capital is safe, ensure your capital in this investment, capital. When we talk about capital, what are we talking about in the context of our career? We're talking about assets. So your asset in this instance is your intellectual knowledge, right? So are you someone who people can invest in terms of intellectual knowledge? So sometimes you might not even have all the skills, but do you show potential and readiness? I mean, why I've talked about being a game changer, building digital skills. Are you a game changer? That is a career capital. That is an asset, intellectual asset that you must have and own for yourself. Because at the end of the day, your asset gives you your value. What value are you bringing on the table? I'm sure we've heard this a lot of times. Value. What value are you bringing? Value. And people are asking me, I don't have experience. I'm a young graduate. I have not worked before. I read about chemistry. I have 2 physical. I don't know. What do you have? Like, I've not worked. No, your value are your assets, and your assets are those intrinsic value that you have. When TDA was talking about the KSA, she was talking a lot around soft skills. What are your soft skills? And your hard skills, your knowledge, your competence. You know, are you good at coding? Are you a graphic designer? I mean, last Christmas, I saw a lot of graphics everywhere. As everybody, with a lot of personalized Christmas greetings, you know. And I said to myself, oh, wow, this is so creative that a lot of graphic designers would have checked out and cleaned out in December. People use a lot of graphics to send messages, right? So that is people understanding what their values are and increasing their self-worth. What is your worth? So your worth is your asset that you have, which you translate to value. Now, there's a tricky part to this. So Chide spoke about having those soft skills, and she spoke about action and execution. So you can have all those skills, but if you don't use them, you don't translate to value. So you can be a good communicator and your mouth is shut. What value are you bringing? No. It's until you use, it's until you translate it to action, until you execute, that is when it transfers into value. And from your value, then your capital worth is also brought about. So your worth is when your asset translates to your value, then that way you have your career capital. Please, if you understand this concept, let me know. Do you understand this concept of asset, value, and worth? Please put it in the chat box because it's really critical. And this just sort of caps everything. TDA spoke about our career in the context of having goals, vision, values. I won't repeat that again, but how can you translate all of this? It is what gives it your career capital. Understanding your why, which starts from understanding your why. So let me know if you understand the concept of AVW. Do you understand the concept of translating your assets to value so that your career worth is enhanced? Let me know in the chat box. AVW. Anyone? If you understand, just give me a yes. Just give me a yes. So let me know, what are your assets? What are your assets, your career capital assets? Anyone wants to share? It's also important we make this very interactive. What are your career capital assets? Fantastic. Anyone, what's your assets? What's your career capital asset? What are your skills? What are your knowledge? What are those intrinsic value that you have? What are you good at doing? What are your assets? You never can tell who might be interested in what value you're bringing on board. Fantastic, Abela, good team player, multitasking. Thank you. What are your assets? What are your career capital assets? Anyone? There might be an asset that you have that someone else needs. So guys, feel free to share. Awesome, go getter. Anyone else? What are your assets? What's your career capital asset? What are you good at doing? I mean, what are you good at doing? What can you use to translate to value? Flexibility, meticulous, awesome, emotional intelligence, team player. Thank you. I want the participants. I want responses from the participants. Efficiency, thank you. Okay, thank you everyone, thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. Keep them coming. Teamwork, flexibility, thank you. So remember, it is when you put them to use that it translates to value and invariably increases your capital worth. All right, so I'm not going to talk much about what we are looking at here. TDA spoke to them already. So let's go to the final segment of this session, which is then how do you recruit a sponsor? So we've spoken about what a sponsor is all about. We've spoken about you being sponsorable by having career capital. Then the final bit to enable us put everything together is, so how do you now recruit a sponsor, right? And a very quick teaser for us. What do you see on this image? What do you see? Feel free to put on the chat box. What do you see on this image? Anyone? What can you see? Guys, tell me, what can you see on this image? I'm waiting. What can you see on this image? What do you see? A tortoise. Wow. Nice. Good. Anyone else? A cow. Awesome. What else? Oh, something on my screen here. A baby. A cow's head. Good. What else? What do you see? What do you see? A child in danger. Good. All right, so let's move on. Nobody saw black and white patches. I mean, I'm used to hearing a lot, black and white patches, map of the world. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. It's actually a head of a cow. Someone already stated that. Thank you, congratulations. That was a smart one. So it depends on how we view our world. Sometimes people feel, I don't know anybody, so I'm not connected, I'm not from a particular family, I'm not from a particular ethnic group, then I don't know anybody. I want you to dish that thinking. That's not true. It depends on how you view your world. Do you see yourself as someone that is sponsorable? Do you see yourself as someone who has very high career capital worth? So it depends on how we see ourselves. It's not about how the world sees us. But if you want your world in a particular way, then you need to change your thinking. It starts from your thinking. A lot of people struggle with self-confidence. They feel, oh, I don't know if I will be accepted. It starts from how do you view yourself and your belief in yourself, in your capability, in your assets, in your worth, and in the values that you bring on board. Because we are who we think we are. Today spoke about effective communication, and she elaborated on non-verbal communication, and that speaks volume. You can be quiet and you're sending out messages. People can read you even though you're quiet. So it starts from us having the right kind of mindset so that whoever is going to sponsor us will be able to trust us. I'm running behind time. So can we see the lettering on the screen? What do you read? The lettering on the screen, what does it on the bottom left here? Can someone type it in the chat box? What does it read to you? Opportunity is nowhere. Opportunity is everywhere. Fantastic. Opportunity is now. There's also opportunity is now here. When you space the W and the H, yes, opportunity is now here. So it depends on how you say it. Fantastic, fantastic. And that is the positivity that you need to move your career forward very quickly. So you have your career capital now. And I saw this quote and I really loved it. An investor without investment objective is like a travel without a destination. Remember the career navigator that you need. For you to be able to navigate appropriately, you need to have a destination. If when you're using Google Map, except you're looking at your current location, you go on Google Map. Google Map will ask you, where are you currently? And it will ask you, where are you going? Google Map will ask you, where are you currently and where are you going, for you to be functional and for you to be able to meet your requirements. So it's not about where you are today. It's about where are you going? Where is your destination? Where are you headed to? You need to be clear. You need to know it. So for you to be sponsorable, for a sponsor to invest in you, you need to have clear career vision, your career goals, and be able to take action. Okay, so an invest is on my screen. I hope you can see my screen. It's on my screen. An investor without investment objective is like a travel without a destination. For you to navigate through your career, you need to be clear where you are headed to. Okay, I hope that is clear. All right. So let's look at this image. What can you say? What can you say about this image? I mean, the horse is tied to a plastic chair, not just a chair, not a wooden chair, a plastic chair. And yet, the horse is just looking. They have tied me down again. What is it? Fantastic, Abiola, awesome. So it's the limitation of the mind, and that comes from conditioning. So a lot of us have been conditioned to feel, oh, we are not enough. We do not have the required skills. But those are all lies. So they are all lies of the mind. And they are called limiting belief. You need to believe. I mean, you can have, I know people who have very strong skills, very strong knowledge, but they just don't believe in their abilities. They just feel, I'm not good enough. And yet they have very good skills. I mean, a friend of mine spoke to me a couple of years back. Our elder brother had about, I think he had about three masters and 1 PhD. And yet the guy is still feeling, I'm not good enough. I don't have a job. You know, so it starts from our minds. We need to be able to have the right kind of mindset. And it also means we should also take that step. Just give it a go. Just move. Thank you. Sometimes you just need to make that first move. That is it. Just make that move. Make that move. Okay. So let's come to something very more practical. You have the right mindset. You have the right skills. You have the understanding. You've been able to chart your destination. So how do I even sponsor? How do I even select a sponsor? Is it everybody that I like becomes my sponsor? Can YF sponsor everybody? Can TDA sponsor everybody? Can Dr. Ayo sponsor everybody? Can DDO sponsor everybody? Right? So from your own perspective, you need to have a clear purpose what you need a sponsor for. And you also need to look at the interest of your sponsor vis-a-vis the influence of your sponsor. So sometimes your sponsors might have very low influence and very low interest, really. Is it worth it? I don't know. You answer that. Or sometimes you need to be able to map your as you are recruiting. So we come to the aspect of recruiting a sponsor now. So as you're recruiting now, you're looking, does this person have interest in my growth? Or is this person interested in investing in me? Right? And vis-a-vis the influence that they have. So you need to be able to map it. And what that does, it helps you to be very strategic, you know, in whatever your plans are in recruiting a sponsor. I mean, there are people. There was a particular young employee in my organization last year. I think he helped me to do 1 or 2 things, and I sort of picked an interest in his skills. And I heard he was having a not so good relationship with his supervisor in the workplace. And one day he sent me a CV that he wants to resign, that I should please help him with other opportunities. So I called him and asked, okay, what's the problem? Well, he said he was having issues with his line manager, blah, 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 and all of that. I didn't want to seem like he reported to me. I also had a chat with the line manager just to also get his sense. And I realized that there were issues with ego and all of that. So I said to him, all right, I'll help you look for another job. I've spotted his talent. I know he's good. I looked for another role within the organization. And then I put him forward and he moved, and today is having a blast in his new role. So I've played the role of a sponsor in that instance because one, I've seen that he's got very good skills. I don't want to lose his talent. He's a talent to us. I don't want to lose him. And I have the influence to be able to move him from one department to another department and still keep him within my business. So from a sponsor angle, yes, I have high interest in his career growth. And I also have high interest and high influence in being able to move him. And that's from a career organizational perspective. Sometimes it can also play out of the organization when someone shows an interest in you and they have capability and influence to take decisions, on your behalf. Then at that point, your relationship management and your attitude becomes really critical. Okay, so just use that very quickly. I hope we all took screenshots of that. All right, so have you had a time where you call someone and they say to you, I only hear from you whenever you need something from me? Anyone? Have you said that to someone before? Guys, have you said that to someone before? When someone calls you on the phone and you say, I only hear of you when you need something from me. Kilo today, what do you want this time around? Yes. Vivian, yes. Awesome. Okay. So if you look at it from the context of you only reach out to people when you need help from them, will you get the best from them? When you reach out to people only when you need something from them, will you get the best from them? No, you won't. Good. And the reason why that happens is there is no trust factor. So today, very quickly as we wrap up, I'm going to walk you through the 4 factors of building trust in selecting or recruiting a sponsor. First, it starts with credibility. Are you trustworthy? Are you credible? Second, it starts with reliability. Are you reliable? TDA spoke about action. Are you someone that when they assign a task to you, you go all out to get it done? Then intimacy. So intimacy in this context is likable, empathy, right? And of course, your orientation, which speaks to your mindset, which speaks to your motive, which speaks to all of this encompasses the attitude that you bring on board. So I'm going to just walk us through very quickly on the trust equation. How do you build and solidify your trust quotient with your sponsor? Sometimes it can be intending sponsor. So it's credibility plus reliability plus intimacy over your self-orientation. So when we talk about credibility, what are we talking about? How logical are you even when you are communicating, both verbal and non-verbal? Are you very honest and open? Are you someone who is a good listener? Do you demonstrate expertise? This is where your knowledge and your skills and expertise come to play. And then your credentials in terms of how good are you with whatever you're doing. So your trust, when we talk about building trust, the first is credibility. Are you credible? It's really important. It speaks to attitude. Are you a credible person? The second is reliability. Are you reliable? I mean, a couple of times people have reached out to me to help and support in some of my initiatives, and and I'm very open. Okay, so please help me with this. Please help me with. I remember when my HR storybook was being when I was still putting the book together. A couple of young people came out to me to say they wanted to help. So I formed a platform and I assigned tasks. Okay, you do with this, you assist with this, you will handle this and all of it. It was a particular guy who had approached me for mentoring before. And of course, I accepted him and I assigned him tasks. Okay, for emails, you do this. First month, he went and second month, I didn't see the guy. A lot of activities were going on the platform. Then I got a call from him one day. Hi, I need my mentoring advice. Okay, I advised him. Then the third month again, he went awoo. Fourth month awoo. Then the fifth month, he called again. KPMG wants, he has an interview with KPMG tomorrow. Tomorrow, I should please advise him. What should he do? Oh, Allah, I advised him. Then he went away again. And then he's on the platform with all the activities going. He only calls whenever he needs mentoring advice. Is that a reliable person? Has he shown reliability in any way? I'd like your response. Has he shown reliability in any way? No, he's not a reliable person. Do I hold him for it? No. But in terms of trust quotient, one element of that trust has gone down, and that's the reliability element of it. The other part is the intimacy. Now, how are we ready to go over and beyond for our intended sponsors of our sponsors? Are we ready to take risk? You know, are we also very open? Do we listen to them? And are we very discreet? I mean, sometimes they share some of their personal stories with us, and we just keep it like that, or we use it to begin to calculate and size them and say, oh, this person, she's gone through this experience in the past and all of that. So it speaks to our mindset and how we show intimacy with people. Then self-orientation, which for me is the cap, right? How are we able to deal with our emotions? How are we able to handle the way we feel? You know, how are we able to focus on the long-term relationship? And it's not, Pastor Kunle used to say it in those days, sucker and sucking relationship. You know, we are not just sucking and draining and draining. I remember there was a time I was supposed to have some session with a lady had reached out to me. I was very busy at work and I apologized. I said, please, let's speak after work. Then after work, I got home. There were some issues at home I needed to resolve. She kept calling and calling and calling. And I kept responding, I'm sorry, give me another minute or give me another hour. At the end of the day, I couldn't because whatever I was resolving took a lot of my time and I was drained. And I sent a text to her. I'm sorry, can we move it to tomorrow morning? Blah, blah, blah. By the time I woke up the next morning, I mean, she gave me the story of my life. And I'm like, but I kept updating you all through all of that. So for me, it was just a clear no, the kind of person that she was. Fine, she might have been anxious. She wanted to speak to me urgently, but I also have to be in the right frame of mind. So I'm giving her the best and she's getting the best from me at that time. But unfortunately, it was just a situation that was out of my control. And then she went overboard, you know, to explain how disappointed she was. She tried to reach me. I was not available, blah, blah, blah. So do we also put ourselves in the shoes of our sponsors? That is really, really critical. Okay. So I'm wrapping up now. I've spent more than my time. Thank you so much. Relationship is really critical. I mean, it sort of encaps everything that we've spoken about. Having the right kind of relationship and attitude that would help elevate you to your next level. So it's important that you are someone that can be invested into by having the right kind of relationship. And trust is critical. Trust, even in the virtual world that you're in, people also sort of gauge and sense how they can trust you. So that by the time they're making decisions on your behalf, or by the time they're making referrals, I mean, your sponsors can also refer you for other opportunities. They have to have that trust in your capability, in your competence, in your attitude, and of course, in your abilities to deliver. So on this note, I'd just like to wrap up with how do we even gain trust? So it's really critical. It can be hard at first because sometimes it might take a while. Some people are very open. Once you reach out to them, yes, they accept you. But some people might also want to just take their time to understand you. It's okay, just be patient with them, right? Whenever the opportunity comes, just show your best self. Always listen to them. Because sometimes we meet our sponsors or intended sponsors, we are talking and sharing all our life issues from beginning to the end. You're not giving room to listen to them. So we need to show empathy. We need to listen whenever we are with them. We need to be intentional with how we communicate, both verbally and non-verbal. And of course, you also need to share your achievements because from your achievements, they can also pick or your potential for the next level. Okay, so on this note, you attract what you are ready for. Are you ready for the next level? Then you need to make yourself, you need to invest in yourself, and you need to ensure that you're sponsorable so that your sponsor can recommend you and take you to the next level. On that note, I want to say thank you everyone for your time. I hope we've learned one or two things. It was meant to be a breakout session where we can have more interactions, but my time was shrinked to 30 minutes. I had to rush through this. So thank you. I'd like everyone to put in the chat box, what have you learned from this session? Very quickly as we wrap up, what have you learned? What have you learned from this session? Quickly put in the chat box as we wrap up this session. Please put in the chat box, what have you learned? What is that thing that will be your key takeaway that you take and you go and act upon going forward? Please put it in the chat box. I'd like to read from you. Am I sponsorable? Fantastic. I mean, that's a reflective question for you to go and introspect on yourself. Are you sponsorable? Limitations of your mind, you need to dish that. It's important you build relationship. Fantastic. Sponsoring is critical for career growth. How do you sell yourself to your sponsor is important. Anyone else? What have you learned? What has been your key takeaway from this session? We've spoken a lot in the past couple of minutes. I'd like to know, what have you learned? What is your key takeaway? Please put it in the chat box very quickly. Very quickly. We are out of time already. Put it in the chat box. What's your career capital? To be teachable. Awesome. Thank you, Busola, for that. Dotun, thank you. Thank you. To be sponsorable. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What have you learned? What's your key takeaway? What's your key takeaway from this session? I would like to read from everyone. Please put it in the chat box. We've been together for the past couple of minutes to build deliberate and intentional relationship. Thank you. Sponsors are human. Thank you, Lucy, for that. Sola, thank you. Anyone else? Please, I'm waiting. Let's put it in the chat box. What have you learned? What's your key takeaway that you would take and go and act upon? Building trust and be intentional. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Make yourself more visible. Visibility is powerful. Thank you. Dotun, thank you. You've learned to be calm and to be calm with your sponsor and to see things from their view, be empathetic. Thank you. Thank you. Don't call people only when you need them. Yes, so don't call only when you need them. Thank you. Thank you. Am I sponsorable? Put yourself in your mentor's shoe. Yes, your career capital, your asset, your value, your worth, your AVW. Your AVW should be your mantra. What's your asset? And that comes from understanding your vision. What's your purpose? You know, what do you want to give back? Clarity. Thank you. Respect and sustain relationship. Invest in yourself. Thank you. What are your values? Yes, what are your values? That comes from you understanding your asset and transferring your assets into values so that your career worth can be known. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. On that note, I would like to thank the organizers of this event and all the participants. You made it really, really engaging and enjoyable as well. I hope we've all learned one or two things. It's critical that we move from just learning to acting on the learnings that we've taken from this session. On that note, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Whoa. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Lara. That's been fantastic. I'm sure that...
Okay, we take the questions together.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay, so don't go anywhere. Just hold on. There are loads of questions. I have 10 questions for you. Don't leave me. All right. Okay. So I believe TD is also here, and I'm not. Let me check if YF is also here. All right. So this is going to be an interactive session, and we'll run this quickly for the next 20-25 minutes. So I believe we've all listened to all of them. So it's time to engage and get a lot of clarity. You know what? When we are drawing the topics for the Competencies Summit, this particular topic is of interest to me, and I actually said this must be part of it. And the reason is because, yes, I have experienced a sponsored, kind of, on the job and what you call it, Navigator and all of that. And I had so many people, right, that also benefited from that. But I've also seen people that benefited from that and then turn into something else, and that become a lot of problem. Okay, so it's a very, very interesting discussion. So if you have question, you could raise your hand or you drop your question in the chat box. Please, this is an opportunity to engage now. Ask, Taiwo Abaton your question, and Lara your question. YF, I believe it's also somewhere in the corner somewhere. You can ask your question now. So please let's keep dropping the questions. And if you want to speak, you have the opportunity to speak, please. We'll give you the opportunity to speak. So let's go. Let's go. It has been an interesting moment, and I think we couldn't have had it any better. And it's awesome, awesome. Okay, so we are waiting for question. Okay. All right. Okay, go ahead. Dotun, you want to speak or you want to just drop your question? We'll pick it from there. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can pick your, if you want to ask question, let me see if I can pick you up.
So we have a question from Dr. Shoyemi already.
Yeah, so you want to take it up from there?
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Dr. And that's a very brilliant question you just asked. What happens if your sponsor is very busy, a very busy type? How do you manage that? So I'm going to share from my own personal experience. I remember so many years ago where I had the particular sponsor I was interested, I was intentionally building. He was a partner in my organization and he was very busy. What I did was, first and foremost, whenever the opportunity came for me to interact with him, I always asked for his permission. When is a good time? When is a good time I can reach out to you? I've been trying to reach you. When is a good time? So that way you are asking them permission to consider you in their busy schedule. And if you're someone, if it's within the organization, yes, you can either block their calendar or speak to their PA or just find some time to go to their office. TDA, hi, I'd like to see you, please, when is a good time? TDA can say, okay, I'm busy this week, his budget is workforce planning week, see me next week, so, and so. That way, it comes to our consciousness that someone is trying to see me and I need to make some time. That is if you are in the same organization. If it is not within the same organization, how have you been trying to reach out to that person? Is it via social media platform? Are you in the same group with them? Are you following them on social media? Or do you know someone who knows or who's connecting with them on LinkedIn? I mean, sometimes a lot of people reach out to me and ask, you're connected to someone that I'm trying to reach. Can you please refer me? So option one is, if you have direct access to them, to seek their permission or when they are available. That's option one. Option two, if you're following them on social media, if they're out of your organization, you can send them direct messages. Don't come across as, I must see you immediately. Of course, you start with compliments. You start with, oh, I'm looking forward to, maybe can I get 5-10 minutes of your time? I'm working towards a particular project and I would like to pick your brain or like to share with you or whatever. So if that is outside your organization, if it's on social media, you can look for someone who knows them, who is connected to them. I mean, you're trying to reach TDA, you can go through KW, you can go through YF, you can go through GT, you can go through so many people that, you know, that they're connected to. So it's important that you look for people around them who can refer you. You know, sometimes people reach out to me and somebody is trying to reach you. Can you spare a few minutes for this person? That's another option. And then be patient. I always appeal to people, be patient. They are busy. I'm happy that you know they are busy. Be patient, but look for what would work. Go use your various means of trying to reach them. And when you are reaching, you're not saying, please talk to me now, but you're seeking their permission to have a session with them, maybe a 5 or 10 minute session ahead. And that way they can slot you into their calendar, maybe a weekend, or maybe an evening on their way home, maybe in traffic. You know, busy people also still find some time to reach out to younger people if they know that that conversation is going to be of value, of interest, and that is where that interest comes into play. I hope I've been able to answer that question to an extent. Dr. Shoyemi. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, Lara. Do we have any more questions? Maybe you remove your share screen so that we could pick some other people that may want to participate. Okay, so I think, okay, TDA, you want to respond as well to the discussion?
I'm just coming back to the scene. Was that a question for me?
Oh, okay. Not yet, but what you have shared and what Lara has shared, in a way, have some aspect of where they cross each other. And the thing is this: your emphasis on the attitude, the knowledge, and the skill, and also having a career sponsor. To my best of knowledge, no career sponsor really want to be more committed to anyone if some of these skills are not there, because you just want to go to your career sponsor and dump yourself on them and like, you must get me a job, you must, sometimes people say, this person, why haven't gotten a job for me? You guys are head of HR department, and I'm sure the number of CV you get every day. And then I also know, even though we run a recruitment firm and we have a lot of companies that said, I know a lot of pressure, like get my daughter's job, get this one job. I like, yeah, and if it's not happening, it looks like you are not doing enough, you are wicked. So I feel there's some of these skills too that are very relevant, especially the new order, the new normal, the way things are planned, and the future of work, even what YHEB also shared. So I believe this things synchronize. So you want to share some thought on that?
Okay, so very good. A lot of my presentation and Lara's presentation, I think one slide into the other. You develop the competencies first, and then you can attract the right sponsor. So let me just give a little story. I know someone who all he does is to flash pictures of his so-called mentors on his DP or on his status, celebrating them, and he's been out of job for 4 years. And I had to go and PC him, and I said, also, you have all these people as your mentors and your so-called sponsors, your mentors, and how come they haven't been able to get you jobs? Or do you think they're not recruiting their firms? So being able to attract the right sponsor goes beyond your affinity with them, or whether you can carry their bags, or whether you can hail them, or anything. What will speak for you is your competence and the value you are bringing to the table. So we shouldn't put the cart before the horse. First of all, deal with yourself, hone your skills, sharpen your competencies, work on the soft skills, your communication, relationship management, emotional intelligence, your body language, your nuances, and all that. And then polish yourself, position yourself in such a way that you can now attract that sponsor. That is the way it goes. You don't put the cart before the horse. So Lara has told us how to go about that. I have also spoken on the competencies. YF has also spoken. Video mentioned that the tips on how to go about that yesterday during his own session. So a total of all this will get us to the right place. Thank you.
All right, that's great. So Lara, you want to also say something on that?
So yeah, I mean, Tidia has said everything. it's really about how intentional you are. And I mentioned having a clear objective, having a clear destination. It's not just, oh, this is my sponsor, and there's nothing they can say about you because you haven't shown yourself forth as someone that they can talk about. It's not really around, oh, they know me, I have their number. Then you're not strategically harnessing back to relationship. It's all around relationship management. So I mean, today I said everything. There's a question from Dotun Shoyemi again. Do you mind if I take it?
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so his question reads, is it possible to have more than one sponsor in the same field? And I'll say yes. And I'll look at it from the context of performance calibration meetings. For those of us in HR, we are used to this kind of meetings where at the end of a performance period, we calibrate performance. And we have all our team leaders and supervisors in the room to talk about our people, our talent, our team members. At that point, I remember while I was still at Accenture, it became clear to me on the need to have multiple sponsors. Sometimes when they are having those calibration meetings and discussions are ongoing about particular performance of people, the guys or the people who do not have enough exposure, who other sponsors or team leaders do not have an exposure of them, are not able to talk about them, to either buttress the point of the line manager performance discussion on them or to kick against it. So at that point, you are the risk, hear me, you are the risk of the lone review from just one person who knows you. So if that person comes to the calibration meeting and says, this guy is not working hard, then you are the risk of that person's decision of you. But if you have multiple exposure to other people within your organization, they can speak and say, no, I have a contrary view to that person's performance. He worked with me on this project. He volunteered in this role. He was part of this, he was part of that. My view of him based on my exposure of you. So if you have multiple sponsors, it increases your chances. If you limit your sponsors, then the risk of being at the sole decision of one person is what you would experience. So the choice is yours, actually. I hope I answered that as well. Audio gone.
Thank you. Yes.
Can you hear me? Someone said audio gone.
We can hear you. No, we can hear you. It must be from his own hand.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Doctor, I hope I answered that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So again, let's also look at this. Okay.
I have another question.
You have another question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you source for a sponsor? TDA, please. How can we source for a sponsor?
Let me share my own experience of sourcing for a sponsor too.
So you take that first. Take that first. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So TDA will come into it, then you will last. Okay. I remember when I at one of those periods when I was looking for a job, and I have a boss, that I was understudying because I knew somehow eventually I want to venture into consultancy. So I was trying to actually pick my tent to see where it would be very good for me. So I had this boss that when I was writing one of my professional exams, then I was going to get chartered as a marketing professional. I just was looking for a location to, to study, do my, what do you call it in a lecture. So I saw the address and I traced the location. Eventually I met him, and when I met him, on the studying him, I saw that I have one or two things I want to pick from him. Okay, so by the time I was done in school, because I actually qualified that before I finished done in school, but I was done in school, I learned a lot of things from him. So one of those instances, he would take me out when he got engagement. So at this point, he took me to one office like that on the island, they hold, what do you call it now? This insurance company, Nikon Insurance, then he was still getting under government. And so we went to see the MD, and then he introduced me to the MD then. And when I saw it, I said, oh, and I was, I tried to get to know his detail and all that. Okay, so, I think another thing is to also know how to manage your network or contact, okay, right, when you are opportune to meet people. So eventually, he get to send me to her, on discussion and business and all of that. And suddenly the madam picked interest in me, okay. And then I told her that I was looking for a job, all right. And I said that I've seen one or two things from her, because how do you source for sponsor? I think it starts from also you identifying some certain value in who you want to be your sponsor, okay? Because you don't want to have a failure as sponsor, and you also don't want to pick just anyhow person. Much as your sponsor should be willing to also accommodate you, also should be able to very choosy. I think it should be choosy. You should be able to see who really do you want as a sponsor. Because when I saw that I could identify some value in her, and I told her I would like to, have some form of tutelage by her. And I told her what I wanted. I wanted a job in multinational. That's what my desire, that was my interest. Okay, I wanted to be my career very big in the marketing, sales, and what have you. And I mentioned some names. And I said, okay. So not quite long, there was an opening in Nestle. Interestingly, her husband was working in Nestle, and the husband was the director in Nestle. Okay, she said, you just call me one day, bring your CV. Okay, and then she sent my CV. And needless to tell you that I went through 7 levels interview. Okay, I got the job, but I never resumed. That was another challenge. Okay, I got the job after 7 levels interview. I must say to you, I still have my letters, and my letter of invite was being sent by courier. DHL in those days, they would deliver it. The next level, they would deliver it. Okay, so but what am I saying? It's time from identifying who you feel to be your sponsor, and your sponsor also sees some values in you, because there must be opportunity that will meet each other. It doesn't just happen. You can't just meet anybody on the road and say, I want you to be my sponsor. And even if the person agreed, we are in a summit, you could see anybody here and you want to pick them as your sponsor, there must be certain things that must attract you. And when you eventually meet your sponsor, the person also sees some value. If you don't have any value, it will be difficult for you to work together. Right? I don't know if I attempted that question. Okay, so TDA, your turn.
Yes, thank you. You did. TDA. Do we still have TDA with us? Okay. Just thank you so much, Dr. Ayo. I think you've answered that. So for me, it starts from the objective. What do you need a sponsor for? What do you need a sponsor for? For what purpose? So you need to be clear in your purpose. You need to be clear in your objective. And at the end of the day, the strategy is, what value do you even find in your sponsor, and what value do you have? And what's the end goal? We spoke about destination. So what's the end goal of this person? Is it just for the person to know me? But in terms of sponsorship, in what context? Are you looking for a job and you want the person to refer you? So it depends on whatever you want to achieve and how do you source. So it starts from the profile of a sponsor for you. What would appeal to you from that sponsor? What value do you see in them? It's not everybody that we see, we like, we want to sponsor us. If they're not in the same career path, or they're not in the same line of interest with us, then there might be no need for that person to be your sponsor. So it really depends on what you want, what you're trying to achieve, what your objectives are, what's the value you see in that person, and how do you source for them in several ways. Their profile online, your exposure of them, the things they do, and how you connect with them, and how they bring value to you at the end of the day.
LinkedIn as well.
What happens? Yes, LinkedIn as well. So it's from their profile that you source for them. You can source for them from social media, from your exposure of them in several ways.
Thank you. All right, so somebody has decided to have you as a sponsor. So,
so okay.
Yeah, the first. So you can follow up
afterwards.
bomber to bomber.
No problem. Let's connect afterwards. Thank you. I'm humbled.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So I think we're just going to, be drawing the curtain now. Thank you so much, Coach Clara. I also pick you as my sponsor, Abby.
It's the other way around. You've been my sponsor since CIPM.
No, you don't have a choice. This time around, you're my sponsor. Thank you so much. It has been an interesting session. TDA, I'm sure TDA is multitasking right now, so not too sure she's with us now, but she will always come back. And YF2. The interesting is that the interesting thing is that this is a continual conversation. All right. Tomorrow is the last day, but the truth is that we are creating platform to be able to assess and engage with opportunities. All right. So what you know, what I know, and how we can go around with this, and it's what we want to achieve. So I can assure you we'll be fine, and the future is very bright and the opportunity abound. All right. So I want to say sincere thank you to everyone. Our faculty for today has been awesome. Thank you so much. All right. We can't quantify the value of the information you have dropped for us, and we can't even pay you. That we know. We don't have the resources, but we can assure you that we will turn around this, and very soon we'll come back to you, as participants, and say that you made this impact in our lives, and I can assure you will do great well. Thank you so much, TDA. Thank you, Coach Lara, and thank you, YF, all the time.
There's one question that came in for me. Please, can you give me a
Go ahead, please.
To take it here. So someone sent me a chat and asked, what's the difference between a mentor and a sponsor? I would explain it in this context. So a mentor is really someone who shares their views from personal experiences, so that there might be someone who's had similar experience to you, just to help you develop yourself. While a sponsor is someone who is able to put in a word for your progress. Someone who has that capacity. It could be within your organization to move from one career to another, one career pedestal to another, or outside the organization, who will put in a word to refer you so that a decision is made on your behalf. So your mentor can also be your sponsor, right? But mentoring is actually different from sponsorship. So mentoring is around sharing knowledge and experience for career growth, while sponsorship is taking a decision on your behalf when you're not there, referring you for opportunities for growth. So I just thought I should explain that difference between sponsoring and mentoring. I hope that is clear.
That's great.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't worry, we can't have enough of you, so we will take it small. We pray that by next year the pandemic will be out of place, so we can have a physical one and then have a more wonderful time together. Thank you so much, Coach Lara. Talk about your book, please, because that book has been a fantastic blessing to the to us that